all around the walls, all through the house. It just, there were wires were exposed, not raw, but I mean, it had eaten the sheetrock. So you could see the studding and you could see into it. So it had an appetite so for sheetrock. And she didn't think this was a problem. She really did. This is a nurse. This is an educated woman. She couldn't see the problem. Very serious. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God,
I mean,
gee.
again, it's a human business, so there's always going to be certain things, and animals always provide some interesting topics of discussion, if you will.
Yes. Yes, that's a nice way to put it. Topics of discussion. I mean, this little pot-bellied pig had just devoured the lower 3 or 4 inches all the way. It wasn't very big, but it was going to get big eating all that sheetrock. It was definitely going to grow. And I think the other thing, I think I told you this about the house that I went up to. This was here in Sarasota, and this was over $1 million home. They had a sign for sale by owner in the yard. And it looked like an expensive home to me, and it was in a nice area. It was west of the trail, and I thought, they've got to be kidding, And they had an open house there, so I went in, and I like to look at for sale by owners and see what people think that they can manage. And the price tag, she had a nice little flyer done up. Was actually $1.2 million, I think, if I recall that correctly. And it stunned me. I thought to myself, why, even though I've been in the business, I know that people think that they know what they're doing and they want to, handle it themselves. But, first of all, when you're selling a house for sale by owner, do you really think that the buyer thinks that you're trying to save them money? So you started off as a disadvantage right there because the buyer knows that they're not going to save money. The buyer's thinking that possibly because you're not a pro, they'll have a better chance of talking you down on the price. But they're not expecting that you're offering to give that money away. But this was a lovely home. And there she has the for sale by owner. And I looked at her and I said to her, and this really happened. I think this really happened. And I said to her, if you had a Lamborghini, would you put it on Craigslist and stick a sign on it in the yard that says for sale by owner? I mean, why do you not realize that this beautiful home, this is not how you want to advertise it? And of course, she got very irate with me and I had to leave. So that was all right. But seriously, are you kidding?
You're right. I mean, you want to, you want to hear something that's funny too, is that, I've in the past gone and had wrong directions and gone and showed the wrong house.
You did that, really? I've never done that, but I've heard that it's happened. Now, we had a guy came in the other day and it wasn't he didn't have the wrong directions. But he was in the wrong house, but they were both for sale, but one didn't have the sign on it. One was no sign in the front yard and one had a sign in the front yard, but they both had lockbox. So he went in the house that had the sign in front, but they were not it wasn't the house that he was supposed to be at. And I was at that house. And I thought that was kind of funny.
Well, good thing he didn't write the contract for the wrong house.
Yes. Well, you didn't do that. Did that happen to you?
I didn't do that, but I've seen it happen. I mean, as I think about this, I remember years ago looking at a lot. I was interested in a residential building lot, and the picture in MLS, and this was before we had multiple pictures, had one picture, this beautiful view. And I went up and I drove around. I couldn't find it. I made an appointment, and the realtor's wife, who was also an agent, met me at the site. And I pulled up and she was there ahead. I said, "You want to hop in and go with me?" She goes, "No, we're right here." I said, "Right here? This is a wooded lot. Where's the view?" And her husband had gone down around the road into the pull-off and taken the picture from down there.
So now we get into some questionable you
Well,
know.
I mean, that has some other ramifications to it, but, ironically, no, that wasn't the piece that I was looking at. What you offered in your advertising and what there was totally different things.
Yeah, yeah, totally different things. So let me ask you another question. Have you ever wanted, like, got emotionally attached to an investment, a potential investment, like you went in and thought, oh, I love this, and I got a good feeling about this, and I want this one. Have you ever had that experience? And then as you really get into it and do your due diligence, you realize, oh my God, this will be a nightmare. Just, or do
Yeah,
you pretty
yeah,
much stay to the numbers?
you have to stay to the numbers, but if the numbers aren't true, you can go down this fantasy world, and then your bubble gets burst when you start doing the real math. Or,
Yeah.
on investment real estate, if you give me your income and expenses and all your expenses end in even zeros, that's a red flag to me. That means you just made up the numbers. They're not real. I don't have any insurance policy that's an even $1,000. My utility bills are not an even $1,000. So, when you look at things like that, yeah, this looked like a great deal. And then you get there and it's like, whoa. Or you look at the numbers and you realize that they're just plucked from air. They're not real numbers. So yeah, it does happen.
It's happened to me where it was residential. It looked so lovely, and I thought, I've got to have this. Oh, I can do it. And then when I really got in there, it was like, oh my God, now how do I get out of this? What have I done to myself?
Yeah.
I know we're getting at I love talking with you. I really do. And
Well, you and I could talk about real estate till the cows come home. You know that.
and we have a few times. We have a few times. But I just, so Peter, what would be the most important thing you want the listener to take away from our broadcast today?
The real estate is lighthearted. It deals with humans. Not everything is perfect. The old saying, the best laid plans of mice and men. And that I use that with my customers and clients all the time to let them know that if, things are out there, things will happen. Let's look at this lighthearted. Life is too short. There's too much going on in the world. Just, be kind, be gentle, and be a good person, and the rest will all work out.
And it will. I like that. So if someone in the audience would like to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
I'll give you my cell phone. Anybody can call me and talk real estate anytime directly. Area code 413-822-2571.
Well, this has been fun, Peter, and informative. And I hope our audience thought we shared something today that can bring them or help them look at how they might want to invest in real estate in the future. Because real estate, home ownership is the easiest, most effective way to build wealth. This has been
Absolutely.
Real Estate. Thank you. And we are right. This is Real Estate Hotwired, and I am Maggie Rose March, an informed voice for the novice investor, a voice of reason for the seasoned investor. Thank you for listening, and please, if you missed any of this broadcast or are interested in knowing more about our past guests, please find us on societybitesradio.com, part of the Radio Ear Network. Or if you have questions or comments, please contact me, Maggie, at maggierosemarch.com, or our production coordinator, Mark Stewart, via email. Send that request to realestatehotwired@gmail.com. Thank you.
This has been Real Estate Hotwired with Maggie Rose March.